Welcome to the Board of Assessors meeting for May 5th, 2025, here in Lunenburg. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast live over the Lunenburg Public Access channel on Facebook Live on the Public Access Facebook page, which is https://lunenburg-public-access-cable-157-427-270-975-305/. The recording can be found at the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The meeting will be held in person at this location, which is the Bellotta Room. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting will not be suspended nor terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with a particular interest in a specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. I'm going to read off the Zoom. We may be having some difficulty with Zoom, so if you can't Zoom in, I apologize for that, but we're going to move forward with the meeting. From a computer, please use the link below. I will read it to you. It is https://us02web.zoom.us/j/287-854-4906. The meeting again is ID is, that can't be the same. The meeting ID, I believe, is 287-854-4906 #. There's another one here listed. I'll read it. 811-5200-2194. If you're dialing from a telephone, dial 888-475-4499 and use the webinar ID, which is 287-854-4906 #. If you have not registered for Zoom, you'll be asked for your name and an email address. No participant ID is required. Just press the # when asked. Telephone users may dial *9 to request to speak after joining the meeting. Computer and app users may use the raise hand feature to request to speak. Give me a second. If Zoom is indeed working, additionally, please be advised that the town of Lunenburg utilizes the Zoom platform as a host for its hybrid and remote meetings, that the Zoom platform utilizes AI technology known as AI Companion to create audio transcriptions of the meetings to aid in the subsequent preparation of meeting minutes, and the AI Companion is activated, immediately upon launching the Zoom application. You are hereby notified that this AI technology may capture audio prior to the start of the meeting and/or following the conclusion of the meeting. The agenda lists all topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by the open meeting law. I will call us to order. It's now 6:44. We should probably just do a quick, here's who's here. We don't typically do that, but in case anyone's online. I'm Brian LaFond.
I'm John Rabbit.
Sarah Kammer.
Linda McQuaid.
Thank you, everybody. I'm going to open this up to comments from the board. I actually have one. We had received a mail from a taxpayer about our last meeting. They were concerned that we were treating their concern lightly. I wanted to reassure that person that we were not, in fact, treating their request lightly. What we were doing was we were actually quite thankful that you pointed out a hole in our process for cyclical inspections. Our process did not leave enough time for people to actually get back to us in a timely fashion so that we could notify the inspector not to go to their property. We have changed the process so that there should be plenty of time for people to notify us of their preference, and we should, in fact, not have such a situation again in the future. So I thank you for bringing it to our attention. I'm sorry if the way we presented it was not anything but appreciative. Thank you. Any other comments from the board? Mr. Rabbit.
As my wife has reminded me, this is my last night.
On Earth?
I hope. Please. Thank you.
She already knows then, so we know how you're going down.
Okay. And I do want to say thank you to the board. And I know you guys are working really, really hard, and I know we've got a lot done in the last 2-3 years or whatever. And I really want to say thank you very much. I am leaving primarily because of personal issues I have to address. In fact, I get to go to surgery tomorrow morning, so don't be late. Don't be late tomorrow. So anyway, I look forward to my next piece, and I have made contact with the Council on Aging, and it would be my intention to join them where I would act as an advocate for them and a liaison with us. And so therefore, I would like to come back and ask Linda, don't kill my email. Allow me to continue to communicate.
That's not her decision.
Well, she's in the inside. She knows.
Okay.
In either case,
Just want to be clear.
I know, and I will probably communicate that with the town manager. And at the same time, I would hope that I could continue to be part of the gateway system and look at that, because I will be trying to run a liaison between the senior center and us. And there's a lot of interesting information aside from the dirty details, that if I could. And it's up to the folks that administer that. So anyway, yeah, and we've made good progress, but I'll share with that. I notice it's not on the agenda, but the 41 piece, the deferral piece, there's been a lot of good communications back and forth. I moved into and clearly expressed that I was an advocate for these people. I was not speaking as a member of the Board of Assessors. We've had multiple back and forth, and once again, it's a classic misunderstanding of what our deferral does and what that particular bank believes.
During public comment, you probably don't want to be addressing any particular
Right.
application.
Right, okay.
Please.
I can come back and get that. So in either case, they're making progress, we're learning stuff, and it's actually looking pretty good, because we're talking to the right people. So that's the only thing I wanted to give you, the progress on getting the banks to play with us in deferrals.
Thank you. Ms. Cameron?
I have no comment.
I'll probably have another comment when we get to the final comment here. End of the night. I'll reserve that right. I think we're ready for, is there anyone on the Zoom? I don't know if we actually made Zoom work.
I don't see anybody on the Zoom.
Okay. There's no one here in the hall, so I'm going to assume there's no public comment. I think we move right into the status report from the principal assessor.
Okay. Just wanted to give you an update on the FY 2025 abatements. We have one tonight to sign that was actually withdrawn as part of an ATB settlement. That is the last one that we will review in an executive session. And of the 37, we granted 22. 15 were denied. And the total amount of the abatements that were granted was $27,106.21. We additionally had 4 administrative abatements, 2 of them being personal property, corrections to solar amounts that were in the agreements. We had 1 fire and one land amount that was corrected, so I wanted to point that out. So that's all the abatements. We will be finished. I do have an 8 of 58 to go through an executive session, and that will be it for any abatements. We did mail out about 220 postcards to get ready for the next cyclical, which will start on May 12th. This card is kind of a mini summary of the letter that went out. We just kind of felt like people needed a little more information with the card we were using. It just wasn't really detailed and was creating confusion. So they have been mailed. I've received a few phone calls, and we only had one person that didn't want to be on the inspection list, but.
So a little more information and a little more notice,
Yes.
as I mentioned earlier. Thank you.
So, yeah, that will, again, that will be starting up on May 12th. And we will update the streets as we find them. So probably starting the week of May 12th, I'll have a better idea as to which streets he'll be inspecting, and we will post that so people are updated. And in addition to that, I just wanted to give an update on chapter land. We've actually been going through the office, reorganizing all the chapter land applications. Robin's been doing a great job with that. And as of the chapter land, we have 8 properties that do not have liens but have applications. So we have sent 2 letters. I had a resident come out today. 2 of those properties do have
So 2 letters to each property.
2 letters to each property owner. Of those 8, it's now going to be reduced to 6 that haven't responded yet. A homeowner came in today. I made up 2 liens, which we will go through an executive session. I have 2 chapter land properties that have no applications, which will be brought back to full value. And I have 4 chapter land properties that sold that do not have an application and did not have any rollback taxes. So we can talk about that in executive session as to how we want to proceed with that. I do have the folders with me. And I have another chapter land application where the owner had passed away. I did bring it back to full value, and I'm waiting a decision from the survivors as to how they're going to proceed, whether they're going to sell the property or if they're going to just pay the rollback taxes. So it's just an update on that. Other than that, I don't really have anything else. We're just starting, Denise and I are starting back on growth.
So just for the folks who might be watching, chapter land, when it comes out of chapter, how it gets treated, if you want to go through that, or do you want me to?
Oh, no, I can go through it. So every year, other than the 61 applicants are supposed to submit an application every year, unless it's in an agricultural preservation, they're exempt from that. So if people do not submit an application, we have sent out letters notifying them that we need an application, and if they don't respond, we have the right to take them out of, we've given enough notice to take them out of the chapter land program and put them back to full value. We're going through a lot of our chapter land files, and we're finding that of the ones that I mentioned, 8 of them didn't have liens, so we need to have liens. So we've sent out letters, 2 letters, just notifying people that they need to contact us to stay in the program because it does need to have a lien. So we started that process, and we will actually, as a courtesy and just to kind of keep a little more control, we're actually going to go to the Registry of Deeds for these homeowners. They just need to write a check to record the lien, which is $105. So if they write us a check, we will go to the registry and record that for them.
And it's not just homeowners, it's any property owner. It could be a property that doesn't have a home on it.
It could be, yes. Yeah, a land, actually land and homeowner, could be
So
both.
in the situation where a property is sold, what happens?
Well,
What's supposed to happen?
what's supposed to happen is the original owner is supposed to pay the rollback taxes unless they keep it in the same use. And whereas if that's the case, the old lien would be released from the seller, and the new homeowner would have to submit a new lien for that. So I have one property that I will be able to actually go back for rollback taxes for 2 years. There's some older ones that I kind of want to just go through with you in executive session tonight on
Yep.
how we should proceed with those, but typically that's the process is if it stays in the same use, there would be no rollback taxes. The old lien would be released, the new lien would be recorded, and if it is sold, the town has a purchase and sales agreement needs to be presented to the select board. It's a 120-day process. The town has the right of first refusal to determine if they want the land, and then if not, it can be sold, and the rollback taxes would be calculated and paid by typically it's the seller that pays
Right.
rollback taxes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask, with regard to a lien, where we place a lien on, is there any interest factor that's associated with, tagged on to the lien with regard to, 3%, 8% per year, anything like that?
No, it's just, I have a spreadsheet that actually calculates this for each year
Mhm.
as to
Is
what.
there- is there an interest rate associated with that calculation?
I don't know that.
I have the formula downstairs.
Yeah,
on
it would
that.
seem like if we don't have one of those, and I know we have another deferral piece, but that would be lost revenue to the town.
So it's not like,
It's,
it's a separate issue. It's not lost revenue, it's revenue. It's basically monies that we did not take in.
to keep it.
And the question, now, I'm sorry, Zoom is doing something. What is that?
Can anybody read it?
Zoom is not responding?
I don't have
anything over here.
anything on the screen.
Sorry for the distraction. Technology strikes its, never
So
mind,
go ahead.
strikes again.
It's different than
It's different than the deferral. The deferral is you're deferring your taxes, and
Right.
that accumulates over time.
But there is a lien that's placed on the property.
There is a lien.
Yeah.
Incorporates the-
But that's,
it's
but
for
it's a
different
lien. I
things.
mean, liens can be done for any number of reasons.
Yeah.
In this case, there's a lien for the back taxes for 3 years or 5.
It's actually for 5, and there is no interest, so what happens is it takes each year, it takes the chapter land value, and it takes the assessed value, and it's calculated by the tax rate of that year, and there's a spreadsheet that actually calculates it out for each year, obviously what the difference would be times the tax rate.
Right.
So that's how it's,
And then your question was about, is there an interest? There may be some interest on that, but I don't know how much that was, and if there is.
no, I don't believe there is. No, it's
So
just the
someone-
difference between the full assessed value, the chapter lane value, and then obviously the
Right.
tax rate that applies for each year.
Thank you.
You look confused.
No,
Yeah.
we could get an answer to that question. I don't know if there was an interest rate specifically applied to chapter land, which it makes sense there should be, but I don't know how the law is
I remember
written.
reading it in any of the training.
I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah.
Thank you, though, for the explanation about what we're talking about in chapter and what we're trying to clean up.
Yes.
Basically, we have lots of land in chapter. These are the ones that are sort of not complete at the moment.
Right. And there really hasn't been any monitoring of these chapter lane properties for many years. So we're cleaning this up. It's just been
Did your mic go off?
let me see,
No,
a
No?
long,
Okay, go ahead.
it's been a long process. Is it?
it's working.
Okay,
It says it's
But
green.
it changed pitch.
yeah.
Thank you. More updates?
That's it?
Before you go on, you said we had 37 abatement applications, 22 of them we approved, 13 we've denied. That gets me to 35.
22 were granted, 15 were denied. That was 37.
Oh, 15 were denied.
Yeah. In addition to that, we had 4 administrative abatements.
I thought you said 13, and that's why I was questioning the numbers. Thank you.
That's it, that's all I have for updates.
That's all you have updated?
That's it, yeah. I have invoices that I'll go through, but,
Okay. Wow. So, okay, cool. I guess we're moving on to current business, unless there's something else that you wanted to talk about.
no,
Review and approve minutes. I sent a copy of the February 19th minutes over
I had no issue with those.
as amended. Okay. I'll entertain a motion on February 19th.
A motion to accept the minutes of February 19th as amended.
So moved.
Well, that's second.
Second, I'm sorry.
He's just trying to take over.
It's just town meeting burnout.
Trying to get out before I lose my mind.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We'll take that. I started to do the March 12th one, and I wound up with a couple of questions that I couldn't get an answer to until I saw Linda, so I don't have those changes. And I will do the March 19th before our next meeting. So February 19th, we're okay. We have executive session. Are there any minutes from executive session that you'd like to
I do.
review?
I have them from the last meeting.
That was the April 19th.
Yeah, 16th.
Says on the
I know, I had
agendas-
the wrong date for the executive session. Should be the 16th. We realized that today.
And it says that on the minutes, though, right?
It says the 16th on the, no, on the minute.
I don't know. I'm asking.
No,
I haven't seen them yet.
it's got the 16th, the right date.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Please.
Thank you, sir. Okay, where it is my last meeting and such. The March 12th was fine, it was okay. I will note that I failed to get in those minutes. I did not get the information into the ledger, so they could write
Okay.
something up. On the March 19th letter, the question that was left open, it was the finance director and the reporting relationship with our lead assessor. And I don't know if I've heard an answer yet. What is the strategy on that one?
Would you, since you won't be at our next meeting, could you write those down and send them to us?
I could certainly.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
If your work's not done,
No, it's never done. It's never done.
It's like
much
web
like,
page.
yeah, the work's not over till the paperwork's done.
Or you're dead. Then you don't know, so you don't feel bad about it. Okay.
So we can read these out loud because there's nothing on here.
Yeah, I didn't put anything.
A 41 application was denied. And the application was incomplete as only one of the owners was on the application. That is true. The property is owned jointly. That is true. It said no notary signature on the agreement, but the agreement can't be reached until later on. The notary signature is not necessary until after there's an approval. So I think we need to take that piece of it off.
Okay,
Is that how you understand it as well?
I understand that when they present it to us, their signature should be notarized as well as any remainder men need to be notarized, and that's what the hang-up.
Even during the application process? I thought during, just the agreement was the
I
notary.
believe the application is the primary piece, and they have to be notarized before we can process the application. We can't really make a decision until the other two parties have already,
And
Come
it's
to
going to be
agreement.
notarized at that point because
Yeah.
they've
Yeah.
reached
Oh,
an
I'm sorry.
agreement.
So that's on the agreement between the bank
Yeah,
and the individual.
and they're,
Right.
well, and on
Okay.
their application.
No,
Their
but
application.
that's between the bank and the individual, not between the town and the individual, because the town and the individual agreement will not have been done until later. So this is,
And the state
this
says
is the
we
agreement
can't, without their signature, we can't process anything.
between applicant and mortgage or mortgagee.
mortgage,
I don't know which one it is, mortgage,
mortgagor. The mortgagor gives to E, or gives to E.
Or gives to E, that's right. Okay, thank you. So the mortgage or. And no, okay. And I think the rest of it's, okay. Yes.
Is this the minutes of the letter that's going to be sent out?
This is this is just the accepting of the minutes from that date.
Okay.
I think what we're going to start doing in the future is if we get any applications that are incomplete, we probably will not stamp them and submit them until they are. I think going forward, that's what we should do as a practice.
So, I don't know. I'm thinking we should stamp them as received in the office and write on them incomplete. Because that way we know what date we originally received it, and if it comes in again, we'll know what date it comes in complete. So that would be my take. Because I don't want to lose track of any papers. So somebody comes in and says, yes, but I brought you this. Well, yeah, you did, but it was bounced.
But what if we don't accept it till it's complete? Because technically, if it's not complete, it needs to be completed, submitted as a complete package.
I'd entertain more conversation on that because you heard my position. And we don't have to decide tonight. We could. We don't have to. Anyway, let's stay on the minutes.
On the minutes, Mr. Chairman.
I want to think about it.
I believe that there were some dates that were presented, specifically to when we had to have a response. And I know there was some discussion around whatever, we said, it's the 30 days, I believe. And in fact, it was 90, and that's the reason why I sent the note in asking to not send something out to these folks, because we made a
We had
decision.
up to 90
based-
days,
Yeah,
right?
right.
We had already made a decision, so
Right, and we made the decision, but it was also done in an executive session, and we hadn't agreed on the minutes, and we hadn't necessarily,
we had to agree on the minutes because they're here.
you know, they're here. I mean, we hadn't seen the minutes, and I feel that we made a mistake.
Why don't-
And,
So these are the minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm thinking that I wouldn't necessarily.
We're reviewing the minutes.
So let's,
Okay,
are
we're
you
reviewing
suggesting a change to the minutes?
Yes, there was discussions with regard to the dates in which we had to respond, and it turns out that those dates were wrong. And I
They
think
weren't
that
wrong.
We could respond, but we had more
We-
time to make that.
They weren't
decision.
wrong. We had up to 90 days. We could make a decision the day we get them. So they weren't wrong. Now, having said that, if you want to reflect something in the minutes, make an amendment to the minutes that you'd like to say,
Okay.
I don't know what you want to say, because we know that we have up to 90 days, but
That is what we talked about, and the minutes should reflect what we talked
Right,
about.
right.
So this other thing is
well,
kind of a new discussion, I thought. That's what I was going to say.
yeah, I get it.
If you want,
Are you-
it's the first time I've seen this write-up. If I could get some time, and I will send something back for your consideration.
Can we leave this with him?
Sure,
Yeah.
I guess it's just a,
We know what Linda has, and
Yeah.
he can suggest what he wants,
yeah,
and whomever is on the board when we have our next meeting can review it,
Right.
okay.
And
Just send it back to me with,
with
Yeah.
whatever suggestions you have, and then we'll modify as
Right.
Sarah and somebody will modify as they see fit.
And as a policy, we might consider that when we notify an applicant of a decision, that there be a listing of reasons and a date that the actual document was created, and
The date, which
when
document?
it was sent to this particular person.
The
Yeah.
denial?
Okay.
It's dated.
And I haven't
we
seen.
just send a denial, we don't explain the reason.
But you must write the date on it when you,
But there is it's an
It's
actual.
dated.
It's a
Yeah.
date.
Okay.
It has a date on it.
so it has a date, I'm not
Certificate.
sure what, you're not asking for anything new, it's something I think that's already there.
Okay, because I haven't seen it,
If
I
it's-
haven't, I just
if it's-
spoke with them, and they said there's no date and there's no reason why it was
There
being
should be a
denied.
date, because we always put a date
I
on.
don't know, but I would think that the policy perhaps should be adopted to say, these are the reasons why, and it gives them a basis for going to the ATB, or at least understanding and continuing a conversation with yourself, Linda, to what's going on, but to just do that.
He's
Here we
got it
go.
faced away from him.
Okay, sorry, I just
He
didn't,
turns it away every time, I don't know
I
why.
don't know, I always do
He
that.
doesn't want to be really recorded.
Yep, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Lily.
So the policy should include identifying the reasons for the denial. And that, again, gives them a chance to respond and understand and think about it. And if they were to make an application to the ATB, then it gives the ATB a clear reasoning for why we did that, why we took that position. So if it's okay, I'll take this back and
Modify it and send
Yeah,
it back
send it
to us within the next
before the next meeting, how's that?
2 weeks.
Yeah, I was.
You're done on the 16th, so please send it by the 16th.
Yeah, when's the election? 17th, right?
17th.
17th, okay.
Thank you. So we'll hold that one in abeyance for now. You see the suggested changes that Sarah and I have included.
Mortgages.
So you can either, if you could send an electronic copy of whatever your changes are back to Linda, so she gets them
Okay.
right. Because we want, God, Lord knows we want to get your words right.
I'll get this
And-
back to Linda.
And then please deliver the hard copy back, because those changes are the ones we just agreed to. Thank you. I have on here that we should have had executive session minutes for March 19th. Do we not have them?
Oh, we approved that.
Well, I don't know, it's still on your agenda. Let's just double check
I'll double check on that.
for the next meeting,
I will.
with whomever it includes.
Okay. Um,
Okay,
If you'd like to be written in, let me know.
yes. If anybody wants to write their name in for a position on the Board of Assessors, there's a 3-year opening still available, and there are, as far as I know right now, no nominees. A paid political announcement. Review and
Really?
approve
Paid?
invoices, well, with my blood, sweat, and tears, but not with any cash. Review and approve invoices, expense vouchers, billing errors, et cetera.
Yep. Wanted to add one other thing. I submitted the MDM1, the veterans exemption, and the motor vehicle reimbursement, motor vehicle excise tax reimbursement forms for FY 2025. So I have copies of those if you would like them. They were approved by the DOR.
You just have one copy there?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can throw them over, but
okay.
Yes.
they're already submitted
I
and
saw
approved. I think we've
Yeah.
seen, I think
Yeah.
we know what's in here.
I think you already saw them, but
Yes.
yeah. The deadline was April 30th, so I
Right.
wanted to get that in.
It's actually 3 of those.
It's the second copy of the same one.
Same. This is the
Third,
veterans.
oh, we each get our own copy.
Yep.
Wow.
This is the veterans, this is the motor vehicle reimbursement.
So the potential reimbursement from the state.
Yep.
Well, this one is 103,000. And for this one, are these two separate things? Oh, yeah. That was for the MDM1. We have ones for veterans exemptions, and we might have a reimbursement amount in total of 78,000-ish. Do we have one copy of that? Oh, I
There's 2 of the motor vehicle exemptions.
And here, and for the motor vehicle exemption, that's just exemption amount, that's not reimbursable, right?
Which one are you looking at?
MVE,
Oh,
It says reimbursement at the top.
Where?
12,
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
It's $12,142.
142.
So it was 103 plus 50-something plus 12, so
Quite a bit
we
of
got
money.
nearly $200,000 back
Yeah.
from the state. Okay. Thank you.
Yep, just an update on that. And I do have,
Anything that we need to sign yet?
yep, I do.
Oh,
I
darn.
haven't-
I brought 3 pens this week.
Oh, good, good.
Last time my pen died.
This is an invoice for the postcards, for the cyclicals. They did want to comment, we got credited $500, but we are definitely over that because we've got 190 here, plus got to be a good 300 in postage, I would say, from the beginning of when we started.
Oh.
And then if I have to replace our door hangers, that's going to be additional costs. So our costs are definitely going to exceed what we had.
So there was just for those folks out there, whoever might be listening, we had a contract with a company to do these cyclical inspections. It included some notification, but their definition of notification was to tell people after they had been there.
Yeah.
So we determined that that didn't make any sense, that notification should occur before anyone goes out to your property. So we've incurred the cost of doing those notifications. They did give us a credit, but apparently it's not quite sufficient to fulfill what we are spending, and we'll have to be really careful on how the contract gets written next time.
Can we go back to them and notify them?
Of the cost,
Yeah.
I can do that. I can get a total amount.
Once we come up with the total amount, it'd
With
be
the
okay
total
to
amount.
go back to them and just say,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah. I did get an invoice from them for the first part of it, which I feel is unacceptable because these are the 3 pages. It says project 25% completion, says retainage 10%, 33% completion, but there's no numbers. I want more data, so I'm not approving, I don't think we should approve this invoice until we get more data. But that
Do you
one.
want us to sign that?
Yeah, if you could sign that one.
Okay. So this is a invoice for the postcards
Right.
for $190.
Our signature is our vote.
2025. Having a moment.
That's okay. I didn't put 19 anything this year, did I?
I just wanted to show you that invoice from Vision, just for reference, because I don't think, it doesn't really tell us how many were done.
Well, it said they're 25% done.
Well, it says 25% completion and retainage, and then data entry printing, 33%.
Yeah, but we don't know
What's
what.
the data entry?
What's what?
What's the data entry printing mean?
The data entry isn't supposed to be completed until the end of the project, so a lot of, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand.
So
where
they're
the-
just saying, we're entering this as we're going.
Yeah,
So we're 33%.
but they're not, because we have the cards, so I don't know
So
how.
they haven't done that yet,
They haven't done the.
in your opinion?
No, the data entry is supposed to be done after they're completed, so
Completion is June?
probably the first week of July, they anticipate being complete with the first phase. I did get an email from the contact that I deal with with Vision, and she said that they were going to be sending more cards. So what they do is they send us the property record cards before the inspector comes out, and she was printing out commercial cards, and I said, there's no reason to print out commercial because we're not doing the commercial till the 3rd year. She said, no, these were comments from DOR. So I don't know what that means. I haven't seen anything, but I guess we'll find out. So that just seemed a little
Wouldn't we
odd.
know about the comments from DOR?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what's sent, but I'll let you know when I receive
In our
them.
contract, did we say the first year's residential?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't be touching the,
Commercial, yeah, we don't want the commercial inspected until the third year.
Right. I just thought I had
Well,
a
I'm
copy
glad
of
you're
the
there to support
directives.
Yeah. Well, just trying to,
Did you wind up with my copy of the directives the other day?
I have one. I brought one,
So,
if you want to reference it.
where's the
It's an
yellow?
extra copy. Mine, the copy you gave me is downstairs, but that's an extra copy that I brought, that I had.
The directives are, whoops, I'm sorry. You can read.
It's okay.
I'm just
Can you
I
pass,
can see it.
can you pass those back, Jack?
trying not to.
The-
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
doesn't say when.
Correct.
So it would be up to our contractor
There's
what they
no,
asked
there's no directive
for commercial.
from the state
Yeah.
to do commercial
I
at
don't know
any
where those
particular time.
comments are coming from, but I got more.
Yep. You can look at the directives if you'd like. Those, you've already seen them, I'm sure, at the website, at the gateway.
And the inspector has a lot to do between now and
Yeah,
You don't want them
You
wasting
do.
time
on
On-
commercial.
commercial at this time.
It's nothing new.
Right.
we're
Plus
actually,
We
all
were
our-
just checking to make sure the directives doesn't really say anything about doing
Yeah.
commercial now.
Yeah.
Denise and I are actually trying to do a lot more of the commercial,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
so.
Thank you. Any other bills, invoices, or
That's
things for
it.
us to ignore?
I appreciate hearing about that, though. It's, I do think it's important to have our contractors monitored.
Yeah,
Right.
I do too.
Neighborhood site index plan for a DOR directive?
Yep. Well, we actually got that capital request approved during town meeting.
Well, it wasn't a capital request.
Well,
was
yeah,
Article
it was a special project, I guess.
It was a special project request,
Yes.
which,
I think it was Article 9.
that was new to us, that it was not going to be a capital.
Yeah, that
In
was
fact,
interesting.
it wound up as a separate article for special projects, which this is.
Yeah.
So I would have supported this. I didn't know about it, but personally, I would have supported this
I thought it was in the capital plan.
right along.
Yeah.
No one mentioned it. But it was approved, and so we have our first installment available to us to make the corrections, review, and improve the neighborhoods. So,
Yeah. And if you've been in our office, you will see that Denise actually has already started. She's mapped out some of the neighborhoods, and she's
Oh.
already started on that, and we're getting ready to go. She's pulled some sales, so we're starting to get started on that. We will be starting, we have to inspect, obviously, these neighborhoods, so,
and the state did tell us to pay a special attention to 1 and 3.
yep.
So we will be paying some special attention to 1 and 3. It happens to be that 1 has been near and dear to people's hearts, so we're working on that as we speak, but 3 is hot on its heels.
Yeah.
Because 3 is also as problematic.
Well, 3's at the top of my list.
Yeah.
3 is at the top of my
There's
list,
too
too.
many properties in
Yeah.
that one neighborhood, and,
For those who don't know, anything that has a 1 on it, any of the neighborhoods site indexes that have a 1 are lakefront, considered lakefront today. Anything that is 3 is part of basically all other, because we have a couple other neighborhoods, 2, 4, and 5, that are much, much smaller. Neighborhood 3 has over 3,000 parcels in it. Doesn't feel like a neighborhood from that perspective. And none of the other ones have even 1,000. Most of the other ones have just a couple hundred. So clearly, the dispersion of our neighborhoods doesn't make any sense. We have neighborhoods that are on very heavily traveled streets, and we have neighborhoods that are in cul-de-sacs, and they're all in neighborhood 3. So it needs to be revised. It has deteriorated since it was formed. I don't think the neighborhoods have been reviewed in 30 years, maybe
They
longer.
haven't been reassigned, that's for sure.
Fair. So, is there anything else you wanted to explain about that?
No, I think you captured it. It's, you've got some cul-de-sacs that are certainly more protected in better areas, in a lot of cases, wooded areas. Then you've got cul-de-sacs that are sitting in the middle of the town, and just little streets, so this is going to be interesting how they
Right.
classify them, and they're continually changing, as well as the traffic patterns and things like that.
Right.
So,
This is a good one.
so is Denise working with Rena and you on that?
Yeah, we've been starting.
You might want to speak up for the crowd. Is Denise working?
Oh, is Denise and Rena working with you on that?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Rena was a big help with the
I said the
chapter
crowd.
land. Yeah. As well, but no, we wanted to get started on that because we have so much to do. And Denise just had asked, can I start that? I said, yeah, if you want to start mapping that out. Just,
So what is she mapping?
she took all of the lakes, and she actually went through the maps and pieced it all together and has all the site indexes indicated on that,
Oh, is she doing it on paper?
on paper. Yeah.
Okay.
And is she applying definitions to help people understand it?
Well, we haven't
Well-
gotten to that point yet. We're just kind of in the beginning stages.
Right.
If you,
And she's basically color-coded
Yeah.
1Bs versus the 1As versus the 1s, so
Oh,
that
they
she knows.
exist already?
So that's as they exist today.
Yeah.
So you can easily pick out one. Oh, this one doesn't look like it fits in with the others. Why is that? Is there
Yeah.
something going on with that piece of property or not?
so that can work, but that's a really time-consuming way to do it.
Yeah.
It'd be good to get a download of the vision file with all the materials, or all of the information on it, and then it can be
Sorted?
sorted and color-coded in no time.
Yeah.
Right.
We do plan on doing that, and then I had mentioned in the last meeting we had that there is that sales comparison option that we're going to actually start utilizing to kind of see if we can come up with.
Vision has functions that we haven't historically used.
Yeah,
Rena was able to export a file
Right,
yeah,
from that with no problem.
right.
yeah.
And that, I think, would be a good place to start. Of course, I love paper maps, but like,
Put in a frame behind you on,
yeah.
I have them in my
It's
office at
just-
home.
It's just, it's a lot of work to color code all those, and if you can have a computer do it for you, you'll be that much further ahead.
Right. Okay.
So we're going to hopefully get started. We need to start.
We've already started.
We have started, but
I'm
we've
just
got to
trying
start.
to be clear for anybody that's watching, we have
We
started.
have started.
And now we have some funding to get us into next year to do some more of the bulk of the work.
Our concern is that with the weather, we need to try to start inspecting some of these neighborhoods while we have the nice weather before the winter comes. So we're going to hopefully come up with a plan to get started with that. So we're just really in the beginning stages at this point. But maybe the next meeting, I can ask Rena she was going to give us an update, and I know she's been
For the next
working on
meeting,
some
yep.
stuff. So maybe the next meeting she can come if she's available and give us an update.
I think that's what we agreed to at the last
Yeah,
meeting. that
The
she'll come
19th, I believe,
next
is.
meeting, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the 21st actually is our next meeting.
21st. Mhm.
May, of May, yep.
I can't actually make that.
We may need to revise the date.
Okay, all right.
We on to reading your vision card?
Yes, I actually tried to go in and make those changes, and I didn't have a lot of the same costs. I'll tell you what I was able to change. I know Brian thought maybe we should keep it generic, just to update that, but I did change everything that you had in yellow that I could
Yeah,
change.
because all of those numbers are related to the fiscal year information. that's
A
put out.
specific year.
And I don't have that data, you have it.
Right.
In Vision.
Yeah,
And-
so the land costs, I have them, but it was in a table that I couldn't edit. I think it might have been copied from some kind of another document, so I wasn't able to edit those, but I do have those costs.
Is it a picture?
It was the picture, I think it was
You can-
inserted
You can
in.
just make a table and
Yeah,
clip it and put it in.
I could do that, but I did change the neighborhood site indexes with the new multipliers. Was able to do that. I went in and changed the styles of the homes. For some reason, I don't have a 30, Vision did not give me a camp base rate in the data that they provided from the interim, so I need to find out what that is.
Didn't we
They,
make some camp?
I thought camp was the one we added.
Yeah, we added.
Is
camp.
there may be some reason that they didn't update
yeah,
something?
I don't know, they have it as a code 36. Last year's base rate was 70, so I need to find that out from
We
them.
definitely added a camp.
We did.
Yeah, so,
One of our big accomplishments.
Way back when.
and the last, all the condo factors, complex factors, they did not provide that data, so I need to find that out from
The
them.
report that she got didn't
Limited.
include the information that we
Yeah.
thought we should have gotten, so
Yeah.
she's going to have to go back and ask for it.
Okay.
So, all these
Yeah.
condo factors, I wasn't able to update,
Yeah.
but,
Now, having said that, Linda mentioned that maybe we should make this more timeless and just put
I'm fine with any
data
which
and
way.
say, as an example, and then say, it will be updated for whatever year you need. If you come out and take a look at our website, at your vision card, that
Yeah.
data will be on there. I'd really like to make it more timeless, so it doesn't have to be updated every year.
Fine with that.
I just don't know if, how easily that can be done based upon what we have right now, but I think it's fairly easy.
yeah, and the other thing too is
I
actually,
think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
it's good to have that data though, because
Uh-huh.
I wish that they did provide the condo, because we really
should
do
know.
need that. We should know that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure if I call support,
Yeah.
they'll
We
be
don't-
able to.
We don't want to run into a situation where we don't know what it was the previous year.
Right.
So, I don't think we need to put that out on the webpage as new each year, but we should have that data each year.
In the
Right.
office, definitely.
And
Well,
maybe we want to
but
put it out
it's
every
not
5 years.
on how to read your vision card,
Yeah.
but somewhere else, and say, here's where this resides.
Yeah.
And you can have access to it.
Yeah.
And so we need to think about how to do that
Yeah.
for the website, I think. So that way we can keep the how to read your vision
Yeah.
card separate from, oh, here's where the actual data is.
Last updated in 2025, no problem. And then we have the other data.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if I could.
Your microphone is not near your mouth. Just try to
Go again, gets in the way.
just talk that way. You're talking this way anyway. You'll get it.
Last time. Anyway, two things if I could. We always refer to it, everything, we tell people, go look at your property card, right? But now we're saying, go look at your vision card.
It's
It's
your
the
vision
same thing.
property card.
Does it say vision property card on it, or it just says property, doesn't it? I mean, vision card.
Well, it's your property
Does
record
Does it say
card.
vision property card on it? That's
You're
one-
right, it's getting jargony, right?
Yeah, this says how to read your vision card, but
Okay.
maybe it should be, say, vision.
Since we only are
So
publishing.
Now we got
one-
rid of the CAI cards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It can just be property card.
Yep,
Yep.
good call,
Well, it's
Mr.
just that people will, what's that?
Excellent point.
property card,
Ah.
okay. So you want to take
You-
vision out?
And by the way, first of all, I think you did a great job, no matter what.
Oh,
And
I just
actually
borrowed
loved
from Concord.
those data tables that you put in there.
Again,
I know,
Concord.
I know you want to make it last forever, but I thought, oh, this is really good, because now all that information is in one stream, and people don't have to go out and try and find the others. And I thought, you know what, if they can see that, they're going to have a higher level of confidence that what they're seeing on their final number, their tax number, works in relationship to the property that they have. And I love the classifications, and I thought, that was really good. I walked away with that saying, that was a nice improvement that occurred. So I really liked it, and Sarah, I appreciate you put it in there, and I know it took work, but if not, otherwise we're gonna have to be updating it and tell them to go see another file, and they're gonna have to go
Well-
find it on the website someplace, and it's just, this is just a nice, easy-to-read document, and it makes sense, so.
It does, and I like it. The issue is, this is your instruction.
Yeah,
It's not the source of your data. And if you use this as a source of your data, you're liable to, when we don't get a chance to update it, or it hasn't been updated yet, to have the wrong data. So I really want the instruction manual to be just that.
Generic,
As
yes.
opposed to time-stamped.
yeah.
So.
So maybe
but
we
a
need
ti-
to have-
be-
sorry.
Because it does take additional time to update it.
It does.
each
Or
year.
if you put an index in the back and just,
But we could say, we could have a report of that data.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
go see
Or
that.
just,
I-
here's the 2026 data. of this,
Right.
or Here's the 2027 fiscal year, here's 2028.
right.
Because I would like to be able to see that really easily without reading it every
Yep.
time.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
I know what that says. I didn't write that whole thing. I got it from Concord and then I altered it for our needs.
You benchmarked.
That's how-
You lifted. That's okay.
Oh.
That's what you want.
I can request that from Vision when they do our interim, to make sure that they
That
include.
we have this
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
And you know, that is specifically just for residential and condos. I would like to have something like that for commercial.
Yeah,
Not the how to read the card, but I'd like that information. Like, I liked what we got from Reval.
yeah.
I thought that was extremely comprehensive, and if we're updating commercial values and rates, I would like to see that every year, too.
Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense.
I felt weird not to get that this year.
I think it is helpful.
We don't get everything in a cyclical year that we'd get in a 5-year reval, so yes, I
But if there are
get it.
changes, I want to know what they are.
Right,
Yeah.
I mean, the land value curve did change.
right,
The commercial, some of the condos changed.
yep,
I think some of the commercial changed. We should,
know that.
Yeah.
it should be,
Yeah.
it
I
should be
mean-
there, you know.
Were we to ask the question of Vision, we'd get the answer, but they should be furnishing
It should-
the
it
answer
should-
before we have to ask.
I mean, if
Yeah.
they're going to if they're going to contract with us, we should
Yep,
get that information.
They did give us the median values of like 3 families. They did give data. I just don't have a lot of costing data,
guess-
especially if, I have the median of all of the complexes, condo complexes, 6 of them, but I don't have it for all of them.
Yeah, you could call me old-fashioned, but I want a report.
Yeah, yeah,
I want a
you're
report
old-fashioned.
that I can pick
How'd I
up,
do?
read, understand, and be done.
yep.
You're right.
Thank you very much. Good job. And I want it so we can put it on the webpage so everybody knows what it is.
Right. Easy access. Mr. Abbott, anything else to add to this
No, I think
conversation?
this is great, Sarah. Nice work.
Okay.
Really.
Thanks for updating it, Linda.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I just wish I had everything.
Well, you'll get the rest of it for probably next meeting, because Vision has that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask, I'm going to reach out to Mike Torello and ask if that can be provided. Either that or I'll call support, and I'm sure support will be able to assist us with that also.
So I'm not sure we should ask if it can be provided, just ask them to provide it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
They work
paid
for
that
us.
service.
we do, I mean,
They work for us.
yeah.
Anyway,
We've
okay,
been invoiced.
thank you. And we will be invoiced. Anyway, town meeting clause 41 and 17, assets, income level adjustments, exemption warranty, everything was passed. Now it's just got to go through the formal review process. Once Kathy has submitted it all, it'll have to go through legal, et cetera. But I think we're in okay shape. We'll see.
Yeah.
One of the reasons, as we know, that we sort of separated into steps was to not have one thing hold up the rest of the stuff. So this was kind of like the last step. One of the comments that I was going to make later on was a thank you to Mr. Rabbit for bringing the situation that we had with our exemptions to our forefront. Our exemptions had not been reviewed in a long time, literally decades. Our limits of our assets and income and the exemptions amounts and all that stuff had not been reviewed in forever. And this wouldn't have occurred without you.
Well, it actually wasn't me.
It was, well, it was you. It was you, because I fought with you a lot about it. But, thank you.
We had the Council of Aging, Deb, come forward to us early on, if you recall, and say, we don't know how to address anything that's going on. In the seniors piece, we need some help. That's what precipitated, let's go take a look at
Did she
it.
come to you? She didn't come to us.
No, she came to this board
No,
before. Weren't you there?
Nope.
Okay,
No,
yeah.
I think
okay,
it kind of
so-
started what was on the wall,
yeah.
so talk about what?
the wall.
No, but he was indicating that someone from Council on Aging came
Yeah.
to this group, and
Yeah.
not since any of us have been here.
Okay,
No.
but they asked for help, and that is what, near to near my heart, of course, because Jane would break my leg if I weren't, but no. It was just a function of, okay, that got me interested in going through, wow, this is something that we need to be doing, and that's what caused us to go pushing in that direction.
Yep.
And
We've made great progress, thanks
no, and thanks
to
to
you.
the whole team, this
Well,
is a team. This is a
we
team.
got there because you were like a dog with a bone. Thank you.
That is a fair statement.
An accurate statement, too.
So, thank you.
No, thank you.
But I am happy that we can talk to our seniors and say, here's what this is,
Yeah,
and this is for you.
Yeah.
Additionally, a former select board member and a nearly former select board member were able to bring some legislation that gives another break
Yeah.
to those people who are trying to stay in their homes in the face of huge inflation to the values of their properties.
Oh, yeah.
So, we're doing what we can. There are some things that we can't do, but there are some things we can, so.
But the exemptions are a critical part of taking care of the whole community.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're not done. I mean, in terms of, we still have some finish work to go, even in the process on the deferral. We outlined some stuff, but we haven't had a chance to walk it through yet to see what we really have and what do we have to do. So it's not.
Yes, Jack, but take the compliment.
Well, and on top of that, we need to finish up what our process is going to be so that we'll be ready for September 3rd.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that, I sent over the exemption, well, the means-tested flyer that I did, and Tom Alonso is actually going to do a little brochure on that, a folding brochure.
Threefold brochure, perhaps. That'd be great.
And I also sent him the application, the means-tested application from Westford, and it's perfect because it automatically, it kind of takes you through, and if you haven't gotten the circuit breaker, it stops right there. So it kind of follows the whole process,
Right.
and then it stops. So the person will know automatically when they filled the application whether or not they qualify based on that.
Oh, that's
And it
great.
has some of the limitations on it.
Great. Progress.
So hopefully we'll be able to,
What's that?
and Lou as well.
Oh.
Yeah, Lou.
Yes.
Thank goodness that we had the help of a former select board member and a nearly former select board member. Right, Tom?
Tomorrow's last meeting, right? Maybe they get to.
That's all that was on the formal part of the agenda. Anything that was postponed topics that we didn't talk about? Actually, one of the things we had on there before was Board of Assessors policies, and I was hoping that at some point we would come up with kind of a format for how we do those policies. We haven't been able to do that, so when you're no longer on the board, if you want to still advise us that, if you still want to advise me,
know I will every Tuesday.
Feel free.
No matter what. Now that
Feel
I can
free.
talk to
Feel
him.
free. Yes.
You have coffee with a guy,
Can't
and
talk.
we're both charging at the same, and we can't say anything to give each other an update or anything like that? It drives you nuts.
So you'll be on the next charter review team so that you can increase the size of this committee to 5, right?
Oh, God, yeah. That's one of the-
We're having trouble getting 3.
Could you change town meeting to not be on
But maybe if you
Saturday
didn't
anymore?
work the 3 to death,
How's it
we
gonna work
might
with
be able
5?
to get to 5. Yeah.
But anyway, okay.
Oh, just a quick question, Mr. Chairman, with regard, and along the same vein of conversation. I'm assuming that I can continue with the means testing representative, as the means testing representative, because that's how I get
I don't know what that
corralled into
means.
that. Okay, the mean testing program that
Oh, the
Linda's
committee.
got.
Yep.
I got assigned to work on it. Tom,
Oh, you mean once you're no longer on the board to wrap up?
yeah, how do
Oh,
I get approved to
I have
be
no
on it?
issue with that.
My expectation would be that I would really like to ask you to help
Yeah.
wrap that up.
Yeah.
I would love to,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it requires the select person's approval, or how does that really work?
We put together this committee.
Okay,
We asked for a select board member and a former applicant,
as
No.
developer,
whatever. And so we basically laid out, and you can, if you so choose, be the assessor's representative to the committee, obviously, as is Linda,
Linda can
because,
slap me around.
but if, I would really like you to stay in till you guys wrap up, and I'm thinking you're going to be wrapping up sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
So-
just waiting on the final,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think at this point we're,
One thing you still need to do for us is come up with the recommended amounts for what will qualify.
Yeah.
we actually did, well, we can talk about that.
No, but
At a la, I
it's
don't,
not on our agenda right now, but it's just
Yeah.
one of those things I wanted to remind you, and I'd really like to make sure it's on the agenda,
next time?
Soon.
perhaps next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had talked about the minimum for assets,
Yep,
and then we also,
all those amounts. We could- we could-
I actually used the vision, the median, they had a 540,000 median for the average single-family home.
You can propose those to us when we
Yeah,
meet
I
next.
Propose that.
You don't need to propose them to us tonight.
Okay.
Because I didn't ask you to prepare that
Yeah.
tonight, and we're not ready to talk about it. So there'll be that, plus you had figured out how many, if we went to 1% of the tax levy, how many people we could support at 100%? That was, what was the number? It's a pretty straightforward number. I think it was 100 and,
Yeah, 100, and I don't have the exact amount, but it would,
in the range of 120. So if you, all you do is take the tax levy, which is 33 million or whatever the heck it was.
I think it's, well, it did,
I'm just
Jen
throwing,
just mentioned it at town meeting, I think it was like 31 million, and,
throwing out numbers.
It would be
Yeah.
great to get those numbers and recommendations
Right.
a couple of days before the meeting, so
Yes.
we can
Okay.
review them and have some thoughts about them.
And if the total max payout is 2370, how many people could we support at max payout? Which is a pretty easy number to come up with. I think it's just like 130-ish. But anyway, you'll bring all that stuff to us next time. And
If you get them out about the same time the draft of the agenda
Yeah.
needs to go out, that's all the
Plenty of
time I need.
okay,
perfect.
Thanks, because I want to be able to give comments. And
yeah.
It's hard when I haven't looked at the data.
If I could, there's a process associated with this, and essentially, if we end up with 40 or so, that's essentially, someone's going to have to go through and review the forms and make sure they in fact qualify,
Sure.
and then have to play with some numbers to see, does it fit, and what could that number be?
But-
Are you going to do a hearing with these people?
So my point was just to get an idea of how many people, if we had applicants up to 130, that we know we can spend all of the money.
Yeah, because we,
If the applications are much less than that, then we know we will spend up to the max. If the applications are more than that, we can figure out what that's going to be. You're really talking about the process later on, when the applications come in to qualify folks, and that needs to be done too, but that's not what we were focused in on at
I'm
Yes.
just saying that there's a lot, there's a whole layer underneath.
And that's why we have almost 2 months to do that.
Yeah,
I think,
September, first week in
Yeah.
September to
September.
somewhere around the first week in November, because we really have to have that classification hearing
yeah,
yes.
right around the end of November.
yep,
And in fact, I went to see watch the, What Do Assessors Do
Yeah.
thing from the 17th. They had actually a calendar laid out there, and they showed the tax rate being set by November 1st, which means you'd have to do the classification hearing in October. We haven't been that successful yet to get it done sooner, but we've usually been done by the mid-late November,
Yeah.
usually, once, because the one prior to that was postponed. But I'd really like to maybe target us to have something, so we'd have a classification hearing late October, have a tax rate by November 1st. That means we'd have to do all of the reviews that Mr. Rabbit is talking about between the first week in September and the middle of October,
right.
which is like 6 weeks. We
Yeah.
should be able to do it, and we have a full staff, so
I'd really like that too. I think it'd be helpful for the town making a budget.
Oh, it definitely would be, and, I mean, that would be great. I am all for having the classification earlier, but the accountant actually has to have all the numbers in as well, because that's the big thing is, I need the levy number to do the hearing.
so
That's I need those numbers to
mhm.
provide that, so
Yeah.
Yep.
that would be the only holdup.
But if we can
So
get,
if we can set the expectation up front that here's what our calendar looks like, and here's our dependency on you, can you have this by this date? And is there some reason why you can't?
Yeah.
yeah,
And if you can't, okay, but please explain that to us and the town manager.
thank you.
Is that enough on that subject? Okay. We do need to talk about upcoming meetings. Ms. Cammer can't make May 21st. She may be the
Sorry.
only member here that is, if I don't get elected.
Debbie can only pray, right?
It's,
You better elect.
You better get elected.
somebody will be elected.
I could do,
So if,
it's just I have a conflict with a special event. I could do the Monday.
oh,
I could do the Thursday.
Oh, I can't do the
So-
22nd. I could
can't do which?
The 22nd,
The
the Thursday. I could do the 19th, though, that Monday, if that works.
May 19th?
May 19th? Will that work for you?
So
I'm not
this
meaning,
one's an off schedule because we're typically doing Wednesdays and we're doing
I'm
Monday
not meaning
tonight.
to push you to Mondays.
No,
It's
no,
just
well,
all the end of the year.
we may
events
need
seem
to
be-
revise our schedules at some point anyway, but
Yeah,
for the upcoming meeting, if we could move it to May 19th as a date,
yeah.
Okay.
and whoever gets elected for the one-year term can be here.
You're going to have at least one vote.
Whoever gets appointed to the three-year term or elected, hopefully can make it as well. So let's set it up for the,
The 19th?
And we should see if Rena can make that,
Oh, yeah.
because I think she's going to do the update.
Yep. I will check with her.
Tell her my apologies.
Yep. No problem. I need to check and make sure a room is available. Hopefully, this room will be available
probably.
with Ellen.
The tentative dates that you had proposed were June 11th and July 16th. Those are both Wednesdays?
Yes, they are.
June 11th shouldn't be a problem for me.
If I'm still around, June 11th shouldn't be a problem for me.
Okay.
July 16th might be. We have
I'm
family
not-
in from out of town in July.
I can't make the 16th.
You can't make it, so,
I could Zoom, I guess.
well, whatever, I mean, if you need to move it.
We can revise that as we know more.
Okay. We're just gonna, are we gonna go to one meeting over the summer?
That was our policy last year. I think.
June, July, and
Well,
August.
You don't get a vote. You can vote because you're here at the meeting, so that's okay. I would suggest that it makes sense to move to once a month during the summer. We're not doing abatements, we're not doing nearly as many motor vehicle, we're not doing any of the prep for the senior means-based test, whatever it is called.
Yeah.
And, you know, it should be able to, that'll give you time to do some of the inspections and stuff that you really want to spend some time on.
Yeah. And we actually need to focus on the growth too, as well.
Well, yes, that's true.
That's one thing that we haven't had too much time to do, so we're trying to get focused back on that because we do need that number. We need to finish to get percentage complete on new construction by June 30th.
So one of the things I'd like to be able to take care of this summer, if I'm still here, is I'd like us to be able to put together criteria for Clause 18. That criteria may make it difficult for some people to apply for it, but that's the way it is. It's rarely used, but it should be available to us as a town.
Okay.
We'll be finalizing, I think, some of the other stuff, but there's really nothing huge. So if we can use that, I'll call it downtime. It's not downtime. If we can use that downtime to focus in on getting that done, that'd be great, because then we have it documented.
So we're not any closer to a meeting in July yet?
We're not any closer to a meeting in July yet.
I know I'm going to be traveling, but I am available the week of July 7th. I don't know if you are. I'm also.
I have family in from Florida for almost the entire month of July, so that means I could do an evening if I have to. And
We don't have to,
I
but
will if I need to, if I'm still here.
if we need to make, if we're trying to do once a month, we might need to come up with
Right.
a date.
If I recall right, we didn't have that many meetings this last summer.
We had one a month.
Yeah, and I think that worked out really well.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's just, we may be having trouble finding a meeting time in July.
I did want to mention, I am
Beginning of the end for me.
signed up for the Assessor Conference, the summer conference on June 23rd.
Yeah, those are never held in Hyannis or any place like that, are they?
Plymouth.
Yeah,
Oh, that's in Plymouth.
So the 23rd through the
Of-
26th,
June?
June, and I will be taking the week before off. Well, actually, that Monday, I also have to take some continuing ed classes. I have 14 hours to take in the next month and a half, so.
And you have PTO to use up.
And I have some time to use up before July 1st, so I will be trying to schedule that in between my continuing ed and trying to get everything done. It just came up so fast at the end of
Well-
the time period, so.
Yes, it did.
Yes.
So I'm trying to find some availability of classes too, which is difficult, but I will get it done.
Does the assessors conference count at all?
Maybe one of them might.
Maybe you
yeah.
can get CEUs or.
Yeah. That's what I do like about it, is some of the classes, they're state approved, which,
You say the
I
dates,
do several in the summer.
yeah.
the dates of the conference are the 20th?
23rd through the 26th.
In Plymouth.
And they actually have, one of the sessions is on battery storage facilities, which I know we have coming up here, so that should be very informative.
Cool.
We'll have many questions on that. That's something that we need to know.
Yeah, how do you assess that?
Yeah.
Is that what's going in the,
Yeah, Leominster Shirley Road. I think it's going in that big building. I think that's what's proposed. Yeah, and that's mandated.
Well, I'm sure that when you walked across the hall to the planning board, oh, wait a minute. We have to walk across the street.
it's a dangerous street, man.
But we could reach out to the planning board and get a better idea what's going on there. I'm not sure it's that much impact on us right now,
Yeah.
but it will be at some
It
point.
will be coming up. And-
Absolutely.
And I got to tell you, Janice and I went to a facility a couple weeks ago, and we had to cost out a wash tower. And it was funny, we ended up, we did a little bit of research, but we had the help of Vision to help us put that in. So that's one thing that, we're starting to go through some of the commercial. We've got to go back to this property, but just to make sure that everything is on the card correctly, because they don't have any personal property because they're a manufacturer. So
Do you-
if it's affixed, then it counts as real estate, not. So in this instance, it was attached to the property.
Do you happen to know what kind of batteries?
Yeah, it's going to be the
Lithium?
back, I have the brochure downstairs that
I'm
describes
curious.
it.
Because, I mean, one of the major issues with green energy is trying to find a way to store it so it's
Yeah.
reliable.
Yep.
Yeah, and I know that a fire is actually a concern, but I guess the way these are designed, it would just be within,
Self-contained,
yeah,
and turn it off.
apparently.
Like all those, server stations that, the mass computers where you go in it and it says if there's a fire, they're going to close the room and you're going to die, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Oh, the suppression system will
Yes.
kill you.
Yes.
yeah.
We're
It
gonna
won't
get
kill
rid of the
everybody,
oxygen.
just you.
Just you. You're down there.
Okay, I'm going to open this up for any public comments. Can we see anybody on Zoom still? Not? Probably not.
Nope, I don't see anybody.
No public? Any board comment? Mr. Abbott, any further?
No, not right now.
I was just going to say, happy last meeting.
Yeah, happy last meeting.
There's a lot of melancholy that goes along with it.
Well,
I'm sure you'll be back around.
I'll do whatever I can to help. I'm not going for election again. We're not doing it. All right.
You say that, however.
No, I'll tell you when we go to executive session, I'll give you more insight.
no, that's not what executive session is for or about.
We have this.
We're not gonna be
intermission
doing-
time until we get the audience to leave the room.
We can do
Get
that. Speaking of which, I do want to thank you. I know sometimes we are on opposite sides or we are talking through contentious issues. We don't always agree on stuff, but that's what makes these committees work. I thank you for your effort. I thank you for your advocacy, even though I think advocacy most of the time is wrong from this role. It isn't wrong for you. It isn't wrong for us as citizens and people. So you continue to be the advocate, and I think moving into an advocacy role is exactly right for you. You kept us challenged on making sure that there's documentation. Well, documentation is important, so you're absolutely right. Making sure that we have a vision in sight and keep charging toward that. So that's one of the things that I think has made you so valuable to this committee, and thank you very much for your efforts.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. And I really do believe that with the diversity, you always get a better result. And you want that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I know, Brian, you and I have sometimes said, oh, I'm going to kill him, I'm going to kill him. But the thing
What do you mean
and
sometimes?
Sometimes, all the time. But as I've shared with you personally, you and I have been friends for 30 years now? Yeah, a lot. How many? 50?
40.
40, yeah, I've lived there. Oh, that's right, I met you, 40 years. And my friendship with you is much more important than whatever little point we get across on any given night, honestly. And so I appreciate you, and I really appreciate Sarah and Linda. You're a blessing. You're a major blessing that was given to us. So honestly, you guys are great, and I'm gonna kind of miss you, but I'm gonna still be a pain in the butt as long as I can be. So there we go. Thank you, and thank you very much.
And,
Thank you for being kind.
With that, I will call for a motion to retire to executive session adjourn this meeting, the open session, and retire to executive session. So who would like to read the thing?
There's only one person that really knows the wording well.
Oh, stop. All right, motion we adjourn to enter into executive session. Adjourning open meeting to enter executive session, not to return to open session after exiting executive session under Purpose 7 to comply with or act under the authority of any general or special law or federal grant and aid requirements. This executive session, quote, is for applications for abatement or exemption under this chapter shall, except in proceedings before the county commissioners, the appellate tax board, or a court of the Commonwealth, be open only to the inspection of the assessors, the commissioners, the deputies, clerks, and assistants of either the assessors or the commissioner, and such other officials or designated private auditors of the Commonwealth, as Chapter 59, Section 60 of the Massachusetts General Law, as the law being cited.
Would you like to second that?
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you all. We can shut off the, what do you call it? TVs. Shut off the recordings. We'll shut down the Zoom.